So what is good, everybody on YouTube? We are back today with a brand new video, and today we're going to be rebuilding what could be the worst team in the NBA this year, the Detroit Pistons. Now, if you've been keeping a close eye over this offseason, they've made some questionable decisions, to say the very least, as far as bringing in so many big men to a team that just kind of feels like they have a stockpile already there, and they're creating a little bit of a logjam. So we're going to go ahead and try to rebuild this team. And just for the fun of it, I'm actually going to let the team rock out for year one to see just how actually the season would go, and then work from there. So let's check it out. So in year one, LeBron James ends up getting regular season MVP with the Lakers. No real surprise. Looking through all of this, you see Al Horford getting Sixth Man of the Year. And let's check out who actually gets Rookie of the Year. It's LaMelo Ball. None of our players make any of the All-NBA teams, which is not the biggest surprise to me. And we come in with only 17 wins on the season as the worst team in the entire NBA. Our leading scorer is Derrick Rose, followed by Blake Griffin, and then Jeremy Grant, which is not the biggest surprise. I would probably expect them three to be doing that. But for me, the future of this team going forward is more in Killian Hayes, Sekou, and some of the younger guys, to say the very least. Philadelphia 76ers actually end up beating the Lakers in the finals, with Ben Simmons getting MVP. So here's where we really hop into this rebuild here, boys. You see, we are working with the number 3 overall pick in the 2021 NBA draft. So we're going to see what offseason changes we can make that could potentially bring this worst team in the league to a real contender in the next year. So let's see who's going to be there with our number 3 overall pick and see what's going on. We hop in and let's check out the prospects available. Some decent ones here, to say the very least. But for our situation, I'm going to take Jalen Green because I know he's just a pure scorer and can really help, considering we have our point guard already in Killian Hayes. And we're going to have to dump off some of these contracts, to say the very least, if we want to get some decent free agents here. Blake's contract, 1 year left, $38 million. Someone would definitely take that as kind of a dump that's in a rebuild. So let's see if we can work something out here. This Bodon and Clint Capella one's not bad, but I want to see maybe if there's something that I like a little bit more. Precious one's not that bad either. I'll take the Montrezl Harrell one. Cheaper contract. Pretty much around the same output at this point in his career, so why not? Definitely need to get Dwayne Dedmon off this team, to say the very least, and we'll trade him and Rodney McGruder, who also had a pretty big contract, for some second round and first round picks just to get them out of here. Mason Plumlee, $8 million a year. Also not really someone I'm necessarily trying to pay, and I'll take that, of course. Getting Matisse Thybulle out of it, so why not? So this team's starting to already look a little bit interesting, and of course we have some money to spend in free agency. We don't have enough money for a max type of player, which kind of sucks in a year where there's a guy like Giannis and stuff that we could go after. But, you know, we could still get a pretty decent guy here, whether that's like DeMar DeRozan, or let's try to maybe get Rudy Gobert. I feel like he would be a decent guy to add as our straight up 5, and we have some pretty good 4s as it is already, and we do end up getting Rudy there on a 4-year contract. Jeremy Grant and Montrezl Harrell. I'm going to kind of shop this to see if there's anything I like a little bit better. And I actually like that Tobias one, which might seem a little weird to you, but I think I'm actually going to do that. Tyrese Maxey and Tobias for those two. Jeremy Grant, obviously a pretty big contract there, and Montrezl Harrell. So this is what we're looking like at the moment. Killian Hayes, Jalen Green, Tobias Harris, Isaiah Stewart, Rudy Gobert, and off the bench, Matisse, Musa, Nerlens Noel, and Sekou, and this is going to translate to an interesting team, to say the very least. You see Killian Hayes ends up getting Most Improved Player of the Year there for us, which is definitely a big W, averaging just about 17 points per game in only his second season in the NBA. So let's see how we actually ended up doing overall. Checking out the standings in the Eastern Conference, we came in as the number 5 seed with 45 wins, which is obviously a crazy turnaround from what we were last year. Jalen Green coming in as a rookie and averaging 24.4 points per game. Definitely what we were hoping from him. And look at that, right behind him, Tobias coming in and making a pretty big impact, 24.1 points per game. You see Killian putting up 16.8 points per game and just about a double-double with 9.3 assists per game as well, man. It's definitely interesting, and some of the youth on this team is really showing out. And to take a look at the rest of the team and their performance overall, I mean, okay numbers from Rudy Gobert. Obviously, he's gonna get you a small amount of like scoring and a lot of rebounds and some really good defense. But if I have an opportunity to move him for something I like a little bit better, I will keep that on my radar. And Sekou not really developing as much as I would really hope. Isaiah Stewart actually already over him in overall at this point in the sim, which is definitely a little interesting to me because I feel like Sekou is a guy that has a lot of potential, but 2K is not showing him the love for it. So it is what it is. But you see what our rotation is looking like heading into the playoffs here. We're working with about a 3.5-star system proficiency. So let's see if we can actually catch a dub here in the first round up against the number 4 seed Miami Heat. Of course, a tough team to play in the first round, but we do end up taking them out in 7, which you'd love to see. Looking at that, Kendrick Nunn dropping 20 there as their leading scorer. And let's see just how our Pistons actually performed. A 42-piece from Tobias Harris, proving to be a great pickup, and 26 and 11 from Killian Hayes. Moving us into the second round here up against the Atlanta Hawks. Of course, a very deep roster here. And I guess our team's just not at the point to really compete with them as we get swept 4-0 by them. Trae Young dropping 37 on our head. Moving us into the finals here, you got the Grizzlies up against that same Atlanta Hawks team. Let's see if the Hawks end up winning this or if Ja Morant can actually upset them. And it does go to the Hawks, with Trae Young getting Finals MVP. Moving us into the offseason here. Of course, we're going to have the opportunity to make some more moves potentially to make us better this season. We only have the 19th overall pick, and I'll take this guy that's ranked 9th overall at center, because why not? We need some depth at the 5 anyway. Interested to see what his overall actually ends up being. And they actually only have him at a 73 despite being the 9th overall ranked player. You see what our player progression is looking like, and you see a guy like Killian Hayes already up to an 85. Rudy Gobert slight regression, but look at Jalen Green, man, up 6 overall points. And for the most part, our guys are going up. So you'll love to see it. Play around with maybe some of the positions a little bit to see if they'll be maximized at another position or what. Looking through this, playing around with it. I don't know if there's anybody that we're necessarily going to end up moving to a different spot. Saddiq Bey is another guy, kind of like Sekou, that there's such a logjam of these like 3 and 4s on our team that he really has not gotten that much playing time, which kind of sucks because I really do like the player that Saddiq Bey could potentially be. But looking at the rotation, this is what we're looking like. Killian Hayes, Jalen Green, Tobias, Sekou, Rudy Gobert off the bench, Isaiah Stewart, Thibault, Maxey, and Duncan Robinson, and of course Saddiq Bey is the odd man out yet again, which sucks, but it is what it is. We're working with yet again a 3.5-star system proficiency. Let's see how it goes. So Trae Young gets another MVP here, averaging 38 points a game with the Hawks, which is insane. See if any of our guys made an All-NBA team this year, because that'd be a huge W. But I'm not seeing it. But Cade Cunningham does make it already, which is kind of crazy. Looking at the standings, we come in as a 6th seed with 45 wins on the dot yet again. And looking at the player standings, 25.6 points per game for Jalen Green, right over 20 a game for Tobias Harris. And honestly, everyone just doing their job. A little bit of a regression from Killian Hayes, but maybe that's because Maxey's in here getting some decent minutes as well. Not really sure on that. And this is our final year to make this attempt to win, of course, with it being a speed rebuilding challenge. And the fact that I was able to take them from the worst team in the league to a 4, 5, 6 seed contender is pretty great in a year or two in their GM position. So let's see what ends up happening. First round matchup here up against the Boston Celtics. Obviously the number 3 seed, a tough team to verse in the first round. We're going to see what we can do here as we find ourselves get up in the series 3-1. And we end up actually bouncing them in 6, which you love to see. Jalen Green dropping 50 points on 20 of 29 shooting, going 9 for 17 from the 3, and another 28 from Tobias Harris. And our bench point guard Tyrese Maxey dropping 15. So you love to see it. Second round here, we're up against the Miami Heat yet again. Obviously, this is the team that bounced us last year. Actually, we did beat them in 7 last year. We got bounced after them by the Hawks. But it's not looking good for us here as we find ourselves down 3-0 in the series. We'll hop into Simcast and see if maybe we can do something here. But we do end up getting one game there. Jimmy Butler dropping 23 and 35 from Tobias and 27 from Jalen Green. But we'll see if we can get another game. Let's take it one game at a time for the time being here. And it's pretty close. We get a second game in on them. And Tobias dropping 29, Jalen Green 24, Maxey 22. Can we push this to a game 7? Let's see. So it is looking pretty good so far, but unfortunately I might have jinxed us as we kind of fell apart in that fourth quarter. Despite some pretty good games there, we could not get it done, boys. So it was a speed rebuilding challenge to see how fast we could try to turn this team around and potentially win a championship within 3 years. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button. Let me know down below what you would do if you were in the position of the Pistons owner. And let me know what type of video you guys want to see next. Bean out, boys. Peace.